Hey folks, good morning. Thanks for joining. This is Pramit from IDC School of Design. Yeah, and we'll start in a bit. We'll wait for a few others to join and we'll start in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Apologies for the delay, but I think we have, participation and the audience is all set. Uh, this is the 78th ITB ACM Sakai event, and it's an Ask Me Anything event for MDes by Research. It's a new program which has been started by ITC since 2025. um, since 2024, and we are second batch of MDes by Research. With us, we have our seniors as well. There are eight of us in attendance over here from both the batches combined. Initially, we would talk you through and present what the program is about, introduce you to the nitty-gritties of it, and then once you have questions, we'll take it up. We'll also float a Slido link, and you can add your questions over there, and we'll take them one by one as they come along. So, with that being said, I'll pass the mic to Soumya. She is MDes by Research second year, and she works on design hybridization. And yeah, over to you, Soumya, and you can introduce our audience to MDes by Research.
Hi, everybody. This is Soumya. Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible now. Should we start?
Yeah, we have to start.
Yeah.
Probably don't now. It's okay.
Okay. So I'll just start again. Sorry for the technical fault. So I am Soumya. I am from the first batch of MDes by Research. It's a fairly new program that started in 2024, and it's MDes. The difference is that when you start, you have a research topic, And for the duration of your MDes by research program, you basically work on that research topic with your guide and your research progress committee. So I'll just, can you put on the slide now? So the eligibility for applying for MDes by research is you should have a BDes, MDes, MR, or MFA degree. So the process is the same. You write seed and then you apply for MDes by research, and then you have a written exam and then an interview. But the educational qualifications are slightly different. So BDes, MDes, MR, and MFA or MFA is mandatory. The topics that are floated in MDes by research, they are floated prior. So you can go through what the topics are for this time admissions. These topics are based on infra that is already available in IDC for research. So we either you have a faculty expert or there is prior work done in that topic, so that in the short duration of the MDes by research program, you are able to build upon that topic further. Yeah, next. So the topics that are there for intake this year, you can find them on IDC website. You will find them under the tab of MDes by research. So the topics have already been announced and you can go through the topics if you have not already. All the topics will have a brief along with the topic. So you will have a basic foundation layout of what is the work that is currently there and what is expected more in that topic. And you'll also have some literature along with that brief. So you can go through that literature and understand more as to what the domain is about. Yeah, next. Yeah, so since now we have two batches from this program, so there is some topics that are under, like there is work done in them, and then some topics might be new for this year as well. So we can all talk about our topics briefly. So since I am talking, I'll start. I work in the domain of design hybridization. So I basically work at the intersection of two very different manufacturing technologies. So one is 3D printing and one is basketry. So in basketry, I work with bamboo as a material, and the motivation for a research like this is basically how hybridizing these two techniques can lead to possibilities which overcome the design limitations in the individual domain. So what is not possible or not feasible in the individual domain, if you are able to overcome that through hybridizing the team. So that is what I've been doing, and this is my second year. So I'm almost towards hopefully finishing my thesis. So I'll now invite my batchmates to talk about their work. And in the end, if anybody has any specific question about this particular topic or about anything, then you'll get a chance to ask. It's okay. Anybody can talk about their work. It's fine.
Hi, I'm Tash. I'm working in the domain of virtual reality under Professor Jayesh Pillai. And most of my work is around exploring novel interaction techniques in virtual reality. And a lot of the work that I've done this year is based on hand gesture recognition and hand gesture controls. This particular project that I worked on was controlling media playback through different hand gestures inside a 360 film environment. And now I'm also continuing, in this semester, I'm also continuing to explore hand gestures in the context of object manipulation in VR. Hi everyone, this is Pratiksha. So I have done my bachelor's in textile design from Hyderabad, and starting from there, this is the topic I've been working on since last semester. It was about functional clothing for trekkers. So I and my guide, Professor Kanika. So because trekking was my interest and my topic was broadly around color material finish CMF, so we decided to choose like what sits at the intersection of my interest and the domain that we were deciding to work. So we worked upon how the like the clothing of the trekkers in urban trekkers and the local communities who are there. So that's what the topic was about, understanding the level of comfort, adaptability, and sustainability in both of these groups clothing.
Hi everyone, I'm Sachin. I come from an architectural background. I've done my master's in landscape architecture, and right now I'm working on playscapes. And this is my previous semester research work, where I have studied how kids coming from different socio-economic groups play in the public park, and what is the difference between them and what is the similarity between them. So this is my research topic as of now, and I'm now getting into more niche that how the space is influencing the play of the kids and how they interact with the space. So this is my work and just going over this.
Yeah, so I could speak about my research as well, although we don't have a slide for this. So I work in human-computer interaction and to be specific, the usable security side of it. Essentially, what I do is I try to understand what different authentication and authorization systems mean and how do they work from a both UI standpoint and from a both from a both UI standpoint as well as how interactions and how the UX side of it work as well. So to be precise, my previous works include understanding how users create, share, and store passwords. So understanding the rationale behind their actions and creating, or rather trying to come up with a mental model for the same. And then my current work involves, okay, how we could use different kind of cues to be precise visual cues to understand if that would affect alphanumeric password recall or memorability. So yeah, so that's about it from my end. If anyone else wants to go ahead. Yeah. All right, and so now we will pass on the mic to our course coordinator, Professor Girish Doravi. And yeah, he would talk a bit about MDes research.
Right. So just to get a sense, can I get a sense of how many people have given seed this year? Right. I mean, there are around 24 participants. I just want to get a sense of how many people have given seed.
You guys can probably raise your hands.
No, they're reacting to the message. Right. Right. And how many are going to, and how many of you are planning to do it next year or so? And Sharvari can just put a message. How many are giving next year? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So in order to be eligible to the program, the program is eligible to two kinds of candidates. So the first is you have to qualify seed. As you would know, the results of seed will come out on the 4th of March, right? 4th of March, the seed results will come out. The application portal will open on 9th of March, right? So I think you will have from 9th of March to the 27th of March to apply, okay? And there is a class of students who, if they are from IITs and have a CPI greater than 8, they can apply without giving seed. So is there somebody who's from, let's say, an IIT with a CPI greater than 8 but not given seed? Then they can do it. Okay, so Atharva is, yeah, right. So right, so that's the general eligibility. So if you're planning to apply to this program, either you have to clear seed, the results of which will come out on the 4th of March. If that happens, then you apply from the 9th of March onwards, right? Uh, Once the application portal opens up, there's a long application form, but before you do that, there's a list of, so Sharvari has just put up the link of the list of topics this year, right? That we are offering 19 topics this year, okay? Students are expected to apply to only one. So you can apply to only one research topic. So that's the research topics. There are 19 of them, and you can apply to any one of them. Before you apply, go through all of them, read them carefully. There's a lot of reference material that comes with each research topic. Then you go to the application portal, and then you select that as the research topic. When you apply, you are asked to submit a research proposal in that area. So in this research topics are given, and you are supposed to write a specific research proposal for a research topic given in this list. And then you specifically decide to work with that faculty then, right? So that portal window will be 9th of March to 27th of March. And then if you get shortlisted, there's a brochure for the MDes by Research brochure and an MDes research brochure that will be put up by the 5th of March, right? So BR graduates are eligible if they have given seed. If they give seed, I think they are eligible, right? Right. So you have to fill up the application form on.
So the MARC is.
Sorry, MARC is eligible, BARC is not eligible, right? So you have to fill out the application form on the IDC website, and then if you get shortlisted, then you will be invited here for an interview for that specific research topic, right? So broadly, that's the admission process. If you have any other questions or doubts, all of us are here to sort of help you with that. Right, so that's all from my side.
Please use the Slido link to post your questions and not just run the chat box. Thank you.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Sir, is there any age limitation for?
No, there is no age limit. Okay, so the eligibility criteria is very simple. You have to clear SEED, right? Or you have to be from IITs with CPI greater than 8 and a specific set of degrees. So if you have those specific set of degrees, you cleared SEED and or you have CPI greater than 8, then you are eligible to apply. Right.
So I'm from engineering background, I'm currently working here as a research engineer.
Right.
I've heard that like there's a chance to take without SEED, so that's why I wanted to ask.
Right. So there are two ways to do it. So the first is if you have, do you have a no? So you need a BDes from an IIT with CPI greater than 8. So those people are invited for the interview. They are invited to the interview without giving seed. And they take something called as a supernumerary. So there is one seat for such person. Right. There are other possibilities also, but those are long complicated. There's something called as the RAPM PAP category. That is the category. But for that, there are other set of requirements from the Navy. Okay. So you have to have probably worked with an IDC faculty for I think 1.5 years and something like that. That's generally how it works.
Sir, if somebody is done the BDes from him and has cleared the SEED, so they can
apply. Yes, they can apply.
All right, Raj, I can see your hand raised, so you can go ahead if you have a question. Am I audible? Raj, you could go ahead if you have a question. Else we could take some of the other questions. Yeah, so we'll take some questions which are coming up on Slido right now. So Someone is asking MSc psychology candidate with background in HCI and education research. How do I apply? So this is a question related to eligibility. So,
Right.
is there a possibility in the future if sir you could address?
Okay, so who's asking this? Okay, right,
Anonymous.
anonymous, it's okay, right, should be okay, right. So hi, my friend, so unfortunately, the MSc by psychology program is not eligible to the MDes by research program. So the MDes by research program is eligible open only for bachelor's of design program. Okay, you are eligible to apply directly for the PhD program. Okay, so my recommendation is that you apply directly to the PhD program. In the next week or so, the PhD applications will also open up, right? So my suggestion is get in touch with faculty members with whom you want to do research and then directly apply for the PhD program, right? Where is, yeah. Can you show the eligibility slide? Right. So does that answer the question? You can go to the next.
Sorry to interject, but your voice is breaking. So could you please type it in the chat? Yeah, so I think we can take the next question. So how does the curriculum look for MDes by research students? So maybe some of our seniors could take it up. So if any of you want to go ahead.
Okay, so in terms of curriculum, we have two courses which are mandatory for everyone, which is qualitative and quantitative research methods. Apart from that, you have to complete a credit requirement. There's a certain credit requirement for courses specifically, which you can discuss with your guides what course suit you the best, and you can basically handpick from whatever is available in the first 3 semesters. And the last semester is mostly completely your thesis project. So in terms of curriculum, it is quite like you can structure it fairly according to how you want and what courses you think you need. So that is the benefit. And technically, you can finish most of your course credits in the first year itself, and then have your second year free for thesis. I hope I answered.
So the curriculum is available on the website. Sharvari can just post a link of the curriculum. So the program is flexible. You can finish it in 1.5 years to up to 3 years. But you can finish it in 1.5 years and it can go up to 3 years. There are some courses which are mandatory, such as qualitative research methods and quantitative research methods. Then you have to do some departmental electives, and then you have to do some institute electives. And then there's a set of research projects and a final thesis project. That's probably how the curriculum looks. Right? The curriculum is available on the website.
All right, so moving to the next question. Is there a chance to propose our own research topics? Also, does placement at the end of the course depend on the field of research topic chosen?
Right. So unfortunately, there is no chance to propose our own research topic. Right now, we are offering only these research topics. But generally, what I also feel is that if you have a research topic which is somewhat aligned to an existing research topic, you can sort of propose it. So we ask for a research proposal. So choose an area. Let's say if you're interested in, I don't know, if you're interested in games, then there are several topics that are associated with games, and you can propose a research topic related to games. So because there are 19 research areas that have been given, my sense is that you can always come up with a research topic or get a research topic aligned very closely to the topics that have been given, right? But if it's something completely different, then that is not possible because IDC does not have faculty members who will be able to guide you on that research topic.
Can I do that?
Uh-huh.
So for placements after MDes by research, there are two major pathways. First, going into industry. The second is academic, work on more research projects. So definitely for the second part, your MDes by research topic would help you a lot. Also, the connections that you build in the college would also help for that. Apart from that, for the industry track, we set for the placements like other MDes students. And whatever company comes in, you'll apply from that. So those are the two pathways for placements.
So that answered your question. Moving to the next question. If I pass seed, is the next
No,
stage? Yeah, so I'm in fourth year of BDes at IDC right now. My CPI is greater than 8. So I just need to apply in the timeline with a write-up on the research topic, right?
Yes. So all that you have to do is when the portal will open on the 9th of March, there will be an option to say apply without seed or some such, or application for IIT students with CPI greater than 8. You just click that, fill up the application form, write a research proposal, and then submit. But since you are an IDC student, I strongly recommend that you talk to the faculty member before you write a research proposal, right? So yeah, so you don't need to give seed. Also, I just want to give a sense that there is only one seat for people from IITs, and that is a supernumerary seat. Okay. Okay, so if there are many, so it's not, so yes, and so you will be invited for the interview. The top 8 people with the highest CPI, the top 7 people with the highest CPIs will be invited for an interview. And one supernumerary seat is available for candidates with CPI greater than 8 from CFTIs, centrally funded technical institutions such as IITs.
Hope that answered your question. Next question is if I, if I pass C, it is the next stage to write a research proposal. What happens after that, and how are proposals evaluated?
Right. So yes, so after you have cleared seed, then you go through these research topics, read them, and then apply through the application portal. You write a research proposal based on the 19 topics that have been given. After they have been given, if you understand how the IDC admission process works, there are 10 seats available for MDes by research, 5 for general and some such, right? So the number of seats that are available for a category, that multiplied by 7, the top 7 people in that category are called for an interview. So for MDes by research, a total of 70 people, a maximum total of 70 people will be invited for an interview. And then a specific panel as per and an interview, and if you click, and you will be marked on that, and then you will, and then you get it based on the marks in the written exam and the interview.
All right. Next question is, we can go for PhD. So it should be framed like, can we go for PhD after MDes by research? Would you rather know the next steps and career aspect in that case as well?
Okay, so yes, you can go for a PhD after MDes by research. You can do a PhD, of course, in IIT Bombay, and you can do a PhD anywhere else as well. So yes, you can go for a PhD. Right now, we are trying to sort of have a program where you can directly convert the MDes by research into a PhD. As of now, the program does not exist, but it might just happen. You can just directly convert from an MDes by research into a PhD. The way it works right now is that you have to apply for a PhD, But because you've done MDes by research, my sense is that getting into a PhD will be somewhat easier than if you apply from outside.
Next question. So if I have done B.Tech and appeared for seat, will I still be eligible? No, that's not possible.
So you have to do a BDes, my friend. Okay, so you have to have a BDes from an IIT with a CPI greater than 8, not a B.Tech.
Okay. Is this program designed to be closer in nature to a pre-PhD track?
Yes, so that is correct. It is there are, as Krishna mentioned, there are sort of two pathways, as pathways is the new word. So originally it was designed for to be a pre-PhD track. So there are a lot of young people who don't know whether they want to do research or not, whether they want to do PhD or not. So they come here and they do research for 2 years. If they like it, then they convert it into a PhD. If not, then they can sort of go into the industry and try and get a job in the industry. And they get a job in a research job in the industry. So yes, it is a pre-PhD plan.
Moving on, what are the requirements and details we need to prepare for the applications? We have to do research of the selected area. Yes, you would have to do your background research in the domain that you are interested in. And the requirement and details that you need to prepare for the application would be your research proposal, of course, and then the seed criteria as well, as mentioned by Sir earlier.
Just open a proposal. Pravit, can you just open the link? So what Pravit will do is he'll just open the PhD topics. Okay, the PhD topics link.
PhD topics?
The PhD topics link.
MDes by
And
research.
MDes by research PhD topic links. So we just go one up, yeah, one up. Yeah, that's the. Right. So here are the topics. So if you go to any topic, just take game design. Stop sharing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Right. So just take any topic. Sure. So if you take a topic, so let's say if you take a topic such as investigating game structures and players, if you go to 7 topics, just click topic 7, investigating game structures. Yeah, it is. Right. So if you choose this topic, typically a topic will have a title, there will be some description of this area, there will be a short review of work that the faculty member has done. And you will have to probably go through that, right? Then there is a call for proposals. So what a faculty member will do is the faculty member has requested candidates can propose research projects on topics such as, right? And then there's some topics that are given. And these are just examples, but you can propose other topics as well, right? And then there's information on what you need to do. So for example, here candidates should acquaint themselves with text, mark, blah, 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 right? And then there's an expected background of the applicant, right? And then there are sample questions which will come in the exam, right? And there are references that are given. So the ones which are marked triple star are typically things that you should have read. So these are things that you should read and familiarize yourself with. That's the background that's generally expected. And there are some sample questions. So that's how you familiarize yourself with the topic.
Screen is not being shown.
It is. Okay, moving to the next question.
Now, but just check were they able to get it or did they just give a thumbs up. Were you able to see the screen? Just give a thumbs up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. ठीक है. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. ठीक. Yes.
Criteria for PhD.
So the PhD criteria is far more harder. Typically,
has done his graduation like MDes from institute like NIF and has 10 years or 15 years experience. They can directly go for the PhD or not?
there is a provision for exceptional candidates, but very few people get through because the number of candidates with masters and research experience is very high. So generally, it's very difficult for only bachelor students to get into a PhD program.
I have a question. So, what kind of like motivation would a person need to pursue this program over regular MDes or something?
Right. So as you know, the regular MDes program is what is called as a bridge program. Right? The original MDes program was designed for at a time when India did not have many design institutions. Right. So you would have many engineers, architects, applied artists who would come, and then if you look at our MDes, regular MDes program, there are a lot of foundational courses. The first year you will do form, typography, color, and so on and so forth. And then you do projects only in the second year. Right? So half of the program is sort of quote unquote a design program, and half of it is a project program. Right? So this program, there are no courses, or there are very few courses. If you look at the number of courses that students do, they do only 4, 5, 6 courses they do. And they do only research courses. So the motivation is if you want to learn research more, okay, if you're planning a career in research in academia, or in the industry or in academia, you're maybe thinking of a PhD or you're thinking about research, then this is the program. Okay. So here, this is by and large sort of a research-driven program. There's not much coursework here. And you largely, here you do only a semester or so of coursework. After that, you just basically work on your thesis, right, in a very specific area.
I also have a question. So, like, dual degree means
No.
completely different as super numeric.
Correct. This doesn't work in the dual degree. So the MDes by research is not combined with the dual degree. But you can also. No, it doesn't work. I don't think it's approved for the dual degree.
So I have to apply after my 4 years. I'm in 3rd year right now, so next year I'll get it.
I don't know. I'll have to check with this. Okay. You can actually apply for the MDes by research through dual degree also. Right, but I don't know how the course mapping will work. Okay. So I'll tell you why it's interesting. So what happens in the regular program is a 2-year program, right? And what the dual degree students do is they directly join the second year. Yeah. Right? And they essentially just do the projects, they don't do any coursework. Right? But the MDes by research program is a flexible program. It's 1.5 to 3 years. And you can, and there is, and then you have to just do a project. So technically you can join the program, but I don't know. I'll have to check. Okay. But you can, I think you can apply it there. I think you can apply for the MDes by research also.
So next year or this year is my question.
This year itself. Because the dual, when do you apply to the dual degree? The dual,
Last starts in like June, July.
correct. Yeah. So if you're in the top 10, you can apply to that also. I think so. Yeah, I think you can. Although I don't know if we have approval for. So when the dual degree program was introduced, I think the conversion list had only the 5 disciplines. And the MDes by research came much later. So I don't know if it's approved by someone, but you can sort of just try. Or I can check this for you.
All right, next question then. If I have BTech, so we already answered this question. It's not possible. Are guides chill in IDC or they're rude? I'm more interested in knowing this from the students and their
I'll step out.
experiences.
Okay. So I'm going to step out so you can answer that. But you can't really because the age is
Yeah, I think someone from our seniors batch could take it up, and then we'd also have our take on it.
It's are pretty chill and very involved in a very good way in our research. They will help you through most of the process. If you want, they give a lot of time to help you out with things and chill. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're not rude for sure. Like no one is rude here. If the thing is like if you don't work, you just don't work at it. People will not come and say anything as such to you, but it's expected since it's a master's program that you care about what you're doing. That's the thing.
And they guide you well. So that's their, they have their expertise. They really guide you well. So I don't know what chilling means to you, but yes.
Yeah, I think the whole idea that the topics are previously floated and they already sort of have a direction in mind, that really helps because when you come, like when you're on board, you also have a lot of things in your mind. So the whole interview process and all of that kind of somehow aligns you with what your guide is thinking and what you want to do. And so it develops like your understanding with your guide also evolves throughout the course and it's not like MDes, so you get to have more one-on-one sessions, more time with your guide, just like a PhD program. So yeah, it's an important thing to consider that what kind of a guide you want to work with. So if you are thinking of a topic, it might be a good idea to just go and read the profile of the guide that who is offering that to kind of understand if you are in the same bent of mind to work.
I think this is more important that you align more in terms of your thinking processes with your guide. So like chill, yeah, sure, all of them are. But if you don't align and you think very differently, that might cause some issues going forward. So that's more important.
Yeah, I would like to add to that by saying it's a very important call, so please do your due diligence before you apply for any of the research topics. You can you can look it up on the IDC website. There are faculty names and profiles available over there. You can reach out to them prior to applying
Read
and
their papers.
read their papers, go through their body of work, and build. Yeah.
They just want most of the time.
Yeah, you could write to them, build a rapport if you want to know them on a deeper level. And yeah, it would be crucial for you to have a good relationship with them because things would get interpersonal because as our seniors told that you'd be spending a lot of time with your guides. So yeah, it's a very crucial decision. So think about it and think it through before you take a decision.
I think even in every topic, they have attached a lot of papers, which mostly the papers are from that college. So just read those papers and understand how the guides, what their domain of work is before applying.
Yes, yes. Of course, look up their body of work, but also try to engage with them on a more personal level if required. Communicate and try to perceive from that as well, and then take a call. That's what I would say. Anyone else? Okay. So, moving to the
Yeah, so what's the next?
yeah. Moving to the next question, as sir mentioned for PhD, are there any exams that I need to give or just with my graduate degree?
Okay. So you need a postgraduate degree, my friend. So generally, you need a postgraduate degree to apply for a PhD program. And if you want any scholarship, then you need to clear exams. So this is a rule by the government of India of such, right? So typically students who do PhD in IDC, they clear SEED. In any other department, they need to clear GATE. So as you know, all programs in IIT or postgraduate so let's say if you want to do an MDes or you do an MDes by research, you get a scholarship, right? Now that scholarship you get only because you cleared the exam. And the PhD program is also a scholarship based program. So there are different categories in which you can apply. So if you apply to the TA category where you get scholarship, you need to clear an exam to get the TA. If you are a self-sponsored person, that is you're financing the PhD by yourself, and typically it's a part-time PhD or something like that, then you don't need to give an exam, but it's harder. Like it's typically, yeah, uh, that that's generally the sense, yeah. So for self-financed college teacher category and other such things, you don't need to give an exam to be eligible to apply. For the TA category, you need to clear an effort. That is, in order to receive scholarship from the government, you need to clear an exam. If you need typically a postgraduate degree is preferred.
Yeah, hope that answered your question. Now a question on all our minds, perhaps. What are the career possibilities and prospects after MDes by research? Our seniors briefly touched on it previously. So if anyone wants to add to that.
I think Krishna did answer most of it, that you can either obviously choose a career in academia, go for a PhD, or the other route is also to go into industry as a researcher, ideally, and I mean, through connections from your faculties and everything, you do get the chance to go into good places and work as a researcher in the industry as well.
You can also start up your own thing.
What roles are like MDes pass out people are doing in India?
So the first batch is not yet passed out. Okay. Okay. So Soumya's batch is the first batch. They will pass out this year. So it's a fairly new program. It started in 2024. Okay. But some students have already gotten placed and they are doing whatever. So Krishna has just got placed and Tejal has also got placed. And Soumya has also got placed. Ishita has also.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
joining as a UX researcher. Yeah, so UX research is, I think, because my area was in computer interaction, so I directly linked to that. That's why.
So we have, so this year's batch, thankfully, there are some people who have got placed. I think one person has got placed in TCS research, SAP research. Yeah, Bajaj, and so regular IT industry, not regular, whatever, IT companies, as roles as researchers. Probably
IT.
So this year the cohort was largely IT, so it need not be IT oriented, is what we are saying. See, as you see, Soumya works in this wonderful area of craft hybridization, so she can, so I can see very exciting career prospects for her. But if you ask for this batch and for this cohort, and the placement season is not yet over, the 4 people that have been placed in the IT industry.
Yeah. Next question is just to confirm that I understand this. Students select a research topic at the beginning of the program and work on it throughout the full 2-year duration.
Yes, that is true. I'll just sort of expand this. So candidates select a topic. If they get selected, then they become students, and they have then the option of finishing it in either 1.5 years to up to 3 years. Right. So the program is flexible.
So can I add something? Don't be too worried that like, I think your proposal also evolves over time. So your area does remain the same, but like your research question, because it's still evolving, it's not that what you write the first time, that's the hard thing.
All right. Next question. Are BTech students eligible? So yeah, no, we've already answered these questions.
If we qualify through seed, yes. So if a BTech student qualify. Sorry, yeah. No, you are okay. So the BTech student is eligible for the regular MDes program, not the MDes by research
No,
program.
I think they're asking for PhD.
For this program or PhD?
Yeah. No. Okay. So no. I mean, right. No. So a BTech student will not. I mean, can apply for the PhD course, but it will be highly unlikely they get through because I don't think you're eligible for the PhD. I mean, in a very early times, so IDC used to allow undergraduate students to apply for the PhD program if they have some 20 years of experience or something like that. So for highly qualified individuals who don't have a master's degree, because earlier there were not many master's degree, they were eligible to apply for the PhD programs. But these days it's very hard. Next to, yeah, it will be very tough. Because the number of postgraduates applicants in PhD are far higher. Right. So I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, if are you eligible? Yes. What are the chances of getting in? Very slim. Are you eligible for this program? No, you are not eligible for this program. Are you eligible for PhD in IDC? Probably yes. But are you probably going to get in? Very difficult to say.
Do we get in touch with guides or faculty of chosen topics first to refine our proposal before submitting applications? So I could take this up. You could reach out to your guide, but I'm afraid they won't be able to help you out in terms of drafting the proposal. What you could do instead is, if you are inquisitive or curious about their body of work or about some of the literature that they have already talked about, um, you could reach out. But I'm afraid in terms of drafting the proposal, you won't get much help.
Right. So I'll just qualify that a bit. Okay. So okay. So since there are 19 proposals, there's a wide range of faculty members that are available. Okay. We generally encourage students to write to faculty members. Okay. And it depends on the faculty member that you're writing to. So some faculty members are superbly busy and they will not be able to help you with your proposal. Right. Or they might give very sparse. So, okay, some people might not respond because they are very busy. Some people might give you some very short suggestions on how you can improve the proposal, or very generic. Some people are extremely keen and they want to help people read or solve difficulties, right? So generally, to be on the safer side, do get in touch with faculty members. If you get a response, it's good for you. But as Pramit said, more often than not, you might not get a response, or you might not get a very helpful response. Okay. The response also depends on how you draft the email. So if you chat GPT a very long email or whatever, then generally it's just not, yeah, many people will not respond to it. Like, but if you ask a very specific query, or if you have a very interesting proposal that you're building, or you found something very interesting in their work and you've engaged with them, then you might just get a response. So generally the recommendation is, do get in touch with faculty members or write to them, just try that.
Yes. Can we get the link to YouTube stream too? Yeah, we'll share that with you in a bit.
It will be posted on IDC's website.
Yeah, it'll be also posted on IDC's website, so you can look it up from there as well. Would love to hear from the students in the room. What are some of the challenges, limitations of this program?
I can maybe start. So I think one of the challenges that I think is that you have to be very disciplined yourself, especially because there's not a lot of courses that happen, right? Like after the first semester, your courses reduce drastically. So the motivation you have to keep building on yourself. So if you are someone who cannot function without a structure, it might be harder for you to build that routine, and then see, and research is not something that you can technically just like do in 2 days and like cram up all the work and do it. So that is, I think, the only like biggest challenge that I think is something that you need to keep on thinking about and manage time there.
One more thing I would like to add is that you have to be really interested in the topic you are proposing or you want to work on, because that's what you will work on for 2 years, and you have to be really interested in that to work. So yeah, that's a very crucial thing.
Actually, that is the main thing, because often time it will happen that you work really hard on your research and you might not end up with anything, and that could be very depressing. So you need a constant motivation that you genuine interest in your topic, so you can move forward and you will start from the scratch if it happens. So make sure you have a genuine interest in your topic for career.
Also, I think like research is not like the outcomes are not instantly visible. So that's another thing that you feel. I mean, if you're just designing, so you have the product or whatever you design, but here it's mostly text. So you need to also have the habit of engaging with text, both in terms of reading and writing, because that is going to be most of your degree. So.
Also, research is mostly adding up on the body of the work, and it is fairly, at least in the initial stages, I can talk about myself. I took the time to build the whole thing up. So obviously, as Thomas said, that the results are not immediately visible, but obviously over the course of 2 years, you'll be much more sorted with whatever. So have more patience. If that's the trade you should have if you enter the program.
Yeah, very well put from everyone's side. So, but I'd just like to add to it that there would be, rather, there might be conflicts in terms of alignment on topics or project decisions or design decisions in general with your guide. And it's very important that you are invested, like Pratiksha already mentioned, that it's very important that you are invested and you have clarity and you can hold your ground whenever you are making arguments. Otherwise, it might be difficult and things might get a little haywire, or you might lose direction and feel dejected from that standpoint. Because as someone else also mentioned, that there would be often times when you would feel that you are doing a lot of work for nothing. So you should learn to make peace with that and then learn to hold your ground as well. Otherwise, you might feel that the project is being hijacked into a space where you don't want it to go, or something like that might transpire. So yeah.
So, and the solution to that, at least for HCI, or my domain, which is HCI for development, we need to read a lot of papers to ground our research into literature. And that is something that you will have to do over 2 years. A lot. Reading is important.
Yes. So if you're coming from a BDes background, or if you have worked in the industry as a designer, sure, you would be asked to ground your arguments with literature all the time. So nothing can be superficial. Everything needs to be grounded through literature. So a lot of emphasis on theoretical frameworks as well.
But the good part is that your research will be rigorous. At the end, you'll feel proud of yourself, whatever you've done in 2 years, because it is rigorous. Our PCs do have critical standpoints for your research, and you have to be open about that and take that into consideration for the next part of your thesis or research.
Also, if you want to get headfirst into the industry after this might not be the best place. Of course, there would be opportunities in the industry, but the expectations are you would continue in academia.
At
And
least pure research.
huh?
Or at least like pure research.
Yeah. You would pursue pure research going forward as well. But yeah, like the doors are not closed completely either. But just wanted to give you a heads up regarding that as well. All right then. Anyone? Okay. So yeah, moving on to the next question. This is about eligibility of B-ARC. So B-ARC unfortunately is not eligible. M-ARC, however, is eligible.
So BRP is eligible for the regular BDes program, not for the MDes by research.
Regular MDes.
Yeah, so the MDes, yeah, the MDes communication design, MDes interaction design, but yeah.
Yeah. Next question, what is the nature of the written test? Is it tailored to the individual research proposal, or is it the same for all candidates?
Right, so it is tailored for the individual research proposal. It is not the same for all candidates. And if you go through the document that has been shared, each research topic has given some prospective questions as to what kind of questions you can expect in the written test.
All right. For PhD, do you prefer students with research publications, or what do you look for in the candidate?
See, okay, so this is not the PhD thing, friends. This is the MDes by research thing. So different faculty members will look for different things in the PhD. Of course, if someone has publication, that's always good. But yeah, but different people will look for different things based on what PhD topic it is, who the faculty member is, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Do we have a candidate this year who was admitted through the BDes in CFTI's category?
No, unfortunately, no, this year, no. Until now, we have not admitted a candidate under the CFTI categories. We have not had many applicants. This year, we are hoping our BDes and some other BDes students will apply.
Yeah. How do we know who will be the guide for a particular topic?
Right, so that's okay. So typically by looking at the research topic publications, okay. So some people want to publish who the people are, and some people have not explicitly said it. Okay. So for example, if you open the document, if you look at in many research topics, the faculty members have. Okay, so if you look at this topic, so this topic is floated by me. So the papers are written by me, right? So, and therefore you would know that this topic has been floated by me. Similarly, if you go to, let's say, you take AG anything, na? AG ka, take the first one, okay? So this one, okay, so this is an explicit call from Professor Anirudh Joshi, right? And when he said, right, there'll be a section called prior work. This go, right? So when you say this, so description of area and short preview of work, it will typically have the names of the people whose work this is. So text input in Indian language is typically done by Professor Anirudh Joshi. Localization of Indian languages is Professor Anirudh Joshi, and so on and so forth. You can also get to know this information by talking to students, right? So just by looking through the proposal, you just sort of get a sense of who the faculty member is. Most of them.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, moving on. Again, for the students, would you suggest MDes/PhD at IIT Bombay or abroad?
Very subjective, no? Depends
And
on.
also, I mean, none of us have done a master's abroad, so we cannot very objectively also.
Yeah, very difficult to say, my friend. And all kinds of things, financial condition, where they are from, geopolitical, Trump's mood. So we don't. This is a whole range of topic. What he's tweeted. So it's very hard, my friend. It's very subjective. You have to sort of decide this all by yourself. I mean, you have to figure this out based on your particular context.
But also, if you're interested in a topic which can be done, this my topic is the technology adoption for emerging users in India. So I cannot go abroad and do that topic, that I have to apply in India. So it depends on what your area of interest is.
Yeah, hope that answers. How do we know who will be the? Okay, so this we have already taken. So, question for students: what do you guys plan to do after this course? What have you felt about this degree, and what would you want your juniors to know?
No, I like walking.
Can we take up all the students and the student questions?
No, I think do the student
It's
question.
all right. I mean,
It's
you
a
can
general.
you can be
I
here.
also walk a bit.
Yeah. So, would you like to start?
We plan to go after this course.
Yeah. I mean, for you guys, your course is set, so you could talk about that. Yeah.
So I think like we mentioned in our last question, that some of us are already placed. So I have a job offer and I will be working as a UX researcher at SAP. What do I feel about the degree and what would I want to choose? So in terms of the degree, I think it's a very interesting course. I like the structure and the flexibility that it gives you, and also the time to dig deeper into the topic that you are interested. Usually, because I mean, most of you who would be applying would be from a design background, would know that when we are in bachelor's, everything feels too rushed, that you have to finish all your projects in a very haste manner. So here, that is not the case. Obviously, you can dive deep into one thing and understand it well. What would we want the juniors to know? I think, like we mentioned earlier, that it is very important that you are interested in your topic. You have the patience, because it is going to be a slow journey in most of the cases. you will feel that you are just reading it because there's not like a lot of work that's produced that you can just show and feel okay that you've created something. So all these things will be there and you need to be patient with all of that. Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to say that, actually, I come from I have done a master's in architecture. So I was planning PhD after architecture, and I was also looking for PhD in the design domain. But I wasn't sure about it, because if I do a PhD in design, I have to like give 5 years. But I wasn't having any surety. So for me, I think this was the best course of to do research for like 2 years in design and understand it. Is the design PhD is going to work for me, or I should stick to the architecture?
Can I ask you a follow-up? What is the thing that you want to do? And do you want to stick to architecture or say design research?
It depends. Like now I'm finding a middle ground. It's design, but it's also supervision.
So what have you felt about this degree? So. I had something, but I lost because of it.
So I would like to share my experience. I did my bachelor's in design, and post that I was working as a folk crafts designer, and I worked for 2 years. But so since my bachelor's only, I was introduced to craft and the craft sector, and I was heavily interested, and I have been always sort of working internship, my graduation project, everything was in it. But when I started working, I got to understand the domain from a very different lens, and I could understand what are the limitations in it from a design standpoint. And when I decided that I wanted to do a master's, my biggest hesitation was that I do not want repetition of what I already know. So, as Girish sir mentioned, that the regular MDes in India is sort of kind of a bridge course. So, for the first year, it's majorly repetition if you've already done design. So, getting into this course was amazing for me because I carried my experience from my work. So I sort of had an understanding of what exactly is that I want to achieve in terms of novelty when I'm doing work, or what is it that I want to introduce into the domain when I go forward working in it. And this course sort of gave me that space and flexibility to achieve that. And while researching on something, you kind of gain expertise on that. So as I mentioned earlier, in design hybridization, I work with tech as well as craft. So earlier, I only had sort of um, a hold on the craft domain, but because of the hybridization that I'm forward with it, now I understand another very big pillar, that is tech and how it can be integrated. So yeah, it has just sort of made me grow in terms of what I wanted to achieve and my understanding of the domain of craft. So going forward, I would be looking for roles that involve this kind of expertise to develop products.
So now I remember what I wanted to say. So if you see IDC normal MDes or BDes, there are courseworks and the modules run for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And it is a bit rushed for any of it to actually translate into novel solutions or ground it into research or literature. But MDes by research gives you that flexibility where you stick to a topic for a longer time, you gain expertise, and you come up with something novel. So that is something which MDes by research provides. Apart from that, currently I am placed in Bajaj Finance as a UX designer. But my topic is also about emergent users. When I say emergent users, they are low educated users in India. And a lot of where I'm placed, they also work with those kind of people. So somewhere you will find a common ground between your industry, if I've chosen go into industry, but what I've chosen to work in and the domain that I was working in IIT Bombay for MDes by research. So it like combines into a nice pyramid at the end.
Yeah, would like to add to it by saying that if any of you are coming from a industrial research position, I would say how it's done in academia and how we go about research in MDes by research is very different. So feel free to be quite shaken up and break free from the shackles of objectivity that we look at research through in industry. Also, if you're working as a designer in the industry, this would also be something fresh and perhaps quite different as opposed to what you have been doing over the years. So this might be an interesting space to explore. And this would, of course, anything that you come up with in any intervention or anything would be rigorously tested in this course. So you would also get to learn what are ways and what are correct ways of testing your prototypes and testing your ideas and so on and so forth. So it's not just exploratory research or observational research or interviews or surveys. It's also a lot more about testing interventions and understanding fit in lives and so on and so forth. So yeah.
I would like to say something. So this might sound very philosophical, but I was asked this by my guide, and also she observed few things in me. So she like wanted to know that how am I as a person. So many of the things that you have been doing since years, they also reflect on how you take up your research as. So like if someone is interested in knowing people and understanding them and talking to them, only like you can always develop further, but only then you have the skill to bring out information from people, like take out information from people. Otherwise, like how can you talk to people if you don't like or you like to be with yourself or something like that? So it is really important to know that what kind of person you are and what would you like to further develop yourself. Because in research, it also happens that as you go deeper into a topic, it also develops you as a person and you really grow at every moment on digging deeper on what you're working on. So yeah, that is also a standpoint that you get to know things, but also you create something novel and you put further of what you think of the things that exist in the world. So it is really important to know yourself before applying to any topic.
Really nice. That's a really nice.
Also for MDes, I have completed my bachelor's in design, and now in masters I wanted to do something new, which I have not yet done in my bachelor's. This was the perfect degree in India, not going abroad, just to do something which is completely different from what bachelor's of degree provides. As Girish sir actually touched upon, for normal masters, you redo the foundations a lot because yes, you have architecture students, also technology students with you. But if you have bachelor's in design, then this is like a perfect uh, course where you can do something interesting above what you have done in your bachelor's.
Just one thing, like in irregular way. जैसे कि आप सब लोग डिजाइनिंग की ग्रेजुएट्स हैं, पीजी ग्रेजुएट स्टूडेंट, एक साइंस का जो पीजी रिसर्च बंदा होता है, तो वो जैसे कोई भी रिसर्च करता है, उसके इनोवेशंस होते हैं, दुनिया में पब्लिश होते हैं, लोग रिकग्नाइज करते हैं उसको, तो उसको भी सेटिस्फेक्शन होता है कि अच्छा आई एम डूइंग समथिंग। तो एज ए रिसर्च मतलब एज ए डिजाइन रिसर्च पीपल, तो आपको ये कैसे सेटिस्फेक्शन होता है कि हम जो कर रहे हैं वो दुनिया में कैसे जा रहा है, कैसे लोग उसको ले रहे हैं? एक एप्लीकेशन तो ठीक है, लेकिन एक जनरल जो मास है वो उसको ले नहीं पा। जैसे कि अगर साइंस का कोई साइंटिस्ट है, तो उसकी जो भी रिसर्च होंगे वो दुनिया में होंगे, जैसे कि किसी जैसे भी किसी ने कोई वैक्सीन इन्वेंट किया, तो आपको पता है कि एक वे है, उसका मुझे एक रिजल्ट मिलेगा। पर डिजाइन में जो आप रिसर्च कर रहे हो, जो भी आपके टॉपिक्स हैं, वो कैसे आपको देते हैं? जैसे आपने एक टॉपिक लिया, जो भी आपके टॉपिक्स हैं, उसको आप थोड़ी 2 साल काम कर रहे हो, एक उस पर थ्योरी बनी, आपने उसको पब्लिश किया है, तो वो कितना स्टैंडर्डाइज है सबके लिए?
It depends on the domain you're working. For example, if you're working with something that is very theoretical, you're building a theoretical framework, you might or might not have the time in MDes research to test it out. You might have, but it's possible that you might not have. But if you're working with something that is heavily practice based, you will be creating a product and testing it on a user. So that will validate all your research findings into a product that is tested and works. So it will vary for what topic.
Always, like any research always trickles down into the industry in some ways or like in different ways. Like for example, if someone is working in play and play interactions and all these things, so then how does like the gamification translate into better designing of your daily products? I mean, depending on your products, that I mean, your research question is always grounded in some real use case, right? So they, I think you can even ask this question to Sir and have a better answer for you. So he was asking like, how do we as designers know that like the research that we're doing actually gets translated into the real world and doesn't
How do we
stay.
have the satisfaction that what we've made?
Yeah, it's a very hard question. See, okay, so I'll be frank. So it's a very hard question. So again, depends on the reason why it's hard is because it's okay. See, a lot of students are asking very generic questions, and it's very hard to give a generalized answer. Everything is specific. So if some people do fundamental research, like typically fundamental research takes a lot much more time to come, like gets translated, right? Uh, and yeah, and fundamental research typically is also harder to do and all of that. So if fundamental research, it will take longer possibly to be translated into real life. Applied research typically tends to come into the field quite quickly. Even within applied research, there are very specific kinds of categories. So if you're like doing testing and things like that sort of, so test kind of work comes out really quickly.
My question was कि as a students आप लोग कैसे इसको डील करते हो? मतलब ये तो जनरल परसेप्शन है वर्ल्ड के हिसाब से, बट एज ए स्टूडेंट इफ आई एम डेवलपिंग समथिंग और कोई उसको मान लिया एज ए इन एकेडमिक्स, तो मैं मेरे उसको मार्क्स मिल रहे हैं, मैं पास हो गया, ठीक है, बट आप खुद को कैसे इसको कह रहे हो कि यार मैं जो कर रहा हूँ वो ठीक कर रहा हूँ और आगे इसको वैलिडेशन मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा, कोई और मुझे ऐसा नहीं वो डिसमिस कर दिया?
Right. So I don't. Okay. So I'll tell you. Different people look at it differently.
Yeah.
So I don't. Okay. So if a student comes to me with a project, typically the one of the okay. So and the student says, why should I do a research project? Typically the reason that I give the student is for training. So research is not only for the ends, right? It's not only for the paper that you write and for the output that is. It's also a certain kind of training. It's a training on how to investigate, how to ask questions, and so on and so forth. It's also an investigation. It is also a training into articulation. How do you plan? How do you organize? How do you write papers? How do you present your body of work, and so on and so forth. So I think the benefit or whatever the thing that most students will have some satisfaction of is that they would have been trained in certain methods, techniques, and so on and so forth. And I think that's something that we work on, right? Now, whether the output goes out into the real world or not, or what happens to it, or how quickly it goes, it doesn't go, that depends on a whole range of factors, right? So I mean, I don't know. So it's not a very, yeah. So I don't think we make students, right? So there is no pressure on students to put your work out into the real world and show us the impact. Right.
तो ये आंसर तो आपकी तरफ से नहीं, मतलब इनमें से
बच्चा
आप लोग बताओ कि आगे के लिए आपको ऐसा कुछ लगता है नहीं, मतलब आपको डर तो नहीं लगता कि कल को मैं 2 साल बाद जाऊंगा और इंडस्ट्री में इससे क्या होगा, क्या सीन नहीं होगा, लोग इसमें ना करते हैं, सही मतलब कैसे आप सेटिस्फाई करते हो? या कैसे कि यार मैं जो कर रहा हूँ ठीक है, इतने लोग मैं एकेडमी से होके आया हूँ, ऐसा इंस्टीट्यूट से होके आया हूँ, तो मुझे लोगों के वैलिडेशन की जरूरत नहीं, मैं जो कर रहा हूँ ठीक है।
So I think what you asked is a very layered question.
I know.
With a lot of different-
So basically, it's research, you just pursue it, you know, you're going towards something which is not there and you, like, is there, but you're just trying to see it. You pursue it. And it's like a science textbook having figures, design, so you just pursue it, when you, it's there, it will happen, isn't there, you still do it, right? That's why you are doing research.
Just for clarification, I don't think most science students also are having all of their research come into the real world, like you said, vaccines. I mean, I don't think most students are making things like a vaccine.
मैंने जो साइंस इसलिए बोला कि जैसे क्या कोई साइंस बीएससी है और वो एमएससी करता है, जब कोई टॉपिक पर्टिकुलर उठाता है, जैसे कि कोई जेनेटिक्स के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं, तो वो जो भी रिसर्च करेगा उस रिसर्च को आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता, कोई और इसके आगे बढ़ सकता है। But
That is what is the case with research in general, right? Like, the way, like, if you have done research, it should be something that you can pick it up and continue, or you can continue. Otherwise, not.
कई बार ऐसा भी होता है ना कि जैसे किसी ने अपने 10 साल लगाए किसी चीज पर, जैसे साइंटिस्ट के साथ होता है और बाद में वो 10 साल बाद पता चला कि वो प्रोडक्ट बन ही नहीं रहा जो मैं बना रहा था, तो ऐसा कुछ आपके साथ भी हो सकता है या कुछ ऐसे चांसेस होते हैं?
There is a vice versa to it, where probably a lot of design projects are not out in the open, but as researchers, we publish the work. It is someone has validated it has been published. I can cite the DOI, ये मेरा काम है, and even after 10 years, it will still be my work.
And I think the more important thing what Saurabh also mentioned that it's more about the understanding of
Yeah.
how we engage with something if you also articulate. So one thing is obviously the topic that you're working on, you are passionate about the best, so you chosen it. And like she also mentioned that somewhere along the line you always find places where you can find it useful in your work. But other than that, also since you've developed that skill, wherever you go, you can engage with things, at a more deeper level and understand and even articulate those things better.
Yeah, moving to the next question. So this for sir. How many applicants do you expect for gaming related topics like game applications in non-game contexts and investigating player interactions and experiences?
So it's very hard to say, my friend. So no, we don't know. So it's like, yeah, we don't know. It's very hard to say. So generally we get around 10 or so applicants. 10 to 12 is a good number. If I get 10, I'm happy. But there have been cases when lesser people have applied, and yeah, I think the maximum that we've had is around 10 to 12.
All right, moving on. I'm planning for the PhD program, but don't have research skills. How do I build up on that to write a good proposal later on? Again, this is not for PhD at IDC School of Design, but sir, should we take this?
Can we
Yeah,
use
you can
this
take it.
program as a,
Yes, so
We
this,
do-
yeah.
if that is the thing, then I mean, writing for MDes by research proposal, I don't think is that difficult. You have a lot of background already there. You can use that and in 2 years, you will hopefully have some better
Of course,
clarity
yeah.
on how to build a better proposal for your PhD later on.
Yeah. Next question again is about eligibility. You'll get the opportunity to pursue MDes at IDC if you have BTech, but for MDes by research, you won't be eligible, I'm afraid.
Will I be able to continue there?
Yes, so that would be,
Like,
yeah, that would be through a separate track completely. So once you complete your MDes, you could apply for PhD, or if you want to apply straight up for PhD, that might be a little difficult with a BTech background, as sir already
I
mentioned.
think we've had people who have done MDes and now they have applied for PhD at IDs.
Yes,
That's
yes,
possible.
yes, yes. As people who's already doing this degree, what kind of people would you suggest it to? Like someone who loves reading and researching on a topic?
Yes, I mean, if you're not interested in research at all, why would you choose a degree in research? So,
Being
yeah.
curious is very important. Having an innate interest in the domain. So
It's but the thing, like curiosity can be in many ways, right? Like so someone could just have that only a very tinkering sort of a curiosity when you want to do something hands-on and just move on to the next thing. But here you would also need the patience and uh, skill to engage with text and all.
Would you like to address this? Yeah. All right. So we have one last question regarding eligibility again. So I'm in first year of MSc program. If I give the next seat by end of second year of my MSc program, would that make me eligible for PhD scholarship?
I don't know this, my friend. I don't know this. So I don't know when the first year starts, when the second year ends, and so on and so forth. And this is again PhD related. So this is very difficult to answer.
Right. So with that, we have covered.
Is there
most of
any
the-
other burning question? Is there anybody in the Zoom that would like to ask a question that you've not been able to answer, that they've not been able to ask? Can you just raise your hand and then? Can you go to a participant view and then remove the field?
Yeah.
Right, so does anybody want to answer, ask anything? Can you raise your hand? Yes, I have a question. Right, go ahead, Shreya.
So I wanted to ask if we want to reach out to you guys, the students or the faculties, how can we do so?
So best way is to write an email. All our email addresses are on the website. Just write an email. But just try and be very specific. Like if you ask a very specific query uh, related to a proposal or something like that, then people will respond. So if you ask very general stuff, so IIT faculty members are not allowed to respond to general queries because they are not authorized in some senses. Okay. What we can give suggestions to some students about is about specific research topics and papers that we've written and clarifications regarding our topics and things like that. But if you generally ask like what should I do? Should I do an MDes abroad or something like that? Yeah, it'll be very hard. Right? So if you ask very specific topic questions on specific topics, then people about their own research and things like that, then people will respond or might respond.
Also, if you want to reach out to students, you could find us on LinkedIn. So you could look up our names and then reach out to us if required.
Apart from that, on the website, student, like IDC website, you'll go to people, then students, every batch will be there. You'll see that you'll find their email addresses there. You can write an email.
Yes.
We have a question on
Okay,
slide.
thank you.
We have a question on Slido. Does seed make you eligible for PhD scholarship?
Yes, SEED makes you eligible for PhD scholarship. Because it's a central government exam. Yeah. SEED and GATE, SEED, GATE, JAM, and there's one more exam that make you eligible. NET, JRF, SRF. These are the exams that make you eligible for PhD scholarship.
All right then.
We have a question from Martha.
Is it a question?
Yeah, he's written it, that I have a question.
Sarva, you can just ask me a question.
Hello, sir. Hi, guys. Uh, so I asked the question if I'm in bachelor fourth year at IDC. I asked the question if I could get through the CFTS category. So if there aren't enough applications, will I be still applicable?
No, I didn't understand Asava.
He's asking for the, like, because he's a fourth year ITC student only, if he applies without seed.
Huh.
And there are not a lot of applications, will he still be eligible? I think so, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So no, there are always applicants. So it's very rare that there are no applicants. Typically there. So yeah. So you have worried that there will be more applicants than.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah.
So we are about to wind up. Do we have any last questions? If not, thank you all for joining in, and thank you for the curiosity that you showed in the program and your questions as well for the same. And hope to see some of you next year as part. Check out our YouTube stream for the same if you have any persisting questions. And until then, this is MDes by Research signing off. Thank you so much for joining. Cheers. Bye.